The redesign will put the students in a comfort zone to utilize information. The Benton High School Information Research Center is a shining example of information's new role in teaching and learning. I am constantly referring people from around the state to visit the Benton Center. Yes, it is outside the comfort zone for some educators, but it will become commonplace in Missouri schools over the coming years. The fact is that the future just arrived early in St. Joe.
The future arrived early in St. Joe. We are doing some wonderful things, and we are doing them now. The largest untapped value-added component of technology lies in the constructivist approach, an approach that allows our students to determine their own roadmap, determine their own path to new knowledge, and to construct new knowledge with the information that they have access to. Seymour Papert is a professor at MIT. He is a mathematician that literally has spent his entire adult career studying how children learn. And this is a quote from Mr. Papert. He says, "I am convinced that the best learning takes place when the learner takes charge." This is no longer teacher-driven. This is no longer someone else's curriculum. It is an opportunity for students to take charge of their own learning, of their own lives. Designing how students use technology to construct their own knowledge is being developed globally, nationally, and locally in real time. And I wanted to give you an idea of what this looks like in real time locally. This is a glimpse of what technology looks like in the St. Joseph School District. As you watch this video, I want you to take a look at how incredibly focused these students are on the task at hand. I want you to notice how engaged they are. Technology provides a focal point where they can truly be one with the learning process. I also want you to notice the collaboration. We don't learn in isolation anymore. Not only do we learn in collaboration in small groups, but through the use of technology, we are collaborating within the classroom and outside of the walls of our classrooms.
Working on something really busy. It won't even. Okay, well, I mean, but we gotta be on. You know, that's not. Okay.
And once you see the muscle, you'll probably want to take a look at your skill.
Yes. Yes.
The tools are computers, proscopes, which allow students to actually look at and take pictures of very small animals and organisms. And of course, it screen captures that information to the computer where it can be utilized.
You are, but you just haven't typed anything yet? Okay.
These aren't just high school kids that are taking advantage of technology in the St. Joe School District. These are middle school, elementary students. These are students of all ages that have the ability to use technology to further their education. Student work doesn't just happen in our buildings anymore. It's not just a 7 to 3 o'clock endeavor. Students become part of a 24/7 learning community. At this point in time, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Sean Nash.
So I would like to show you a few early examples of some of the things that are going on right now in the district at the high school level. About 5 years ago, my classroom was the first classroom to receive from a grant an actual cart of laptops. From that day on, technology took a massive shift in my room. It shifted from the fact that the teacher, I owned the technology to present things to students, and all of a sudden, really that week, every student had a laptop, and with the right sorts of strategies to use with kids, they all of a sudden now had the power to drive, or at least help drive, the discussion in the classroom. Two things I want you to think about when I show you these images really quickly are connectedness and multiple experts. Connectedness and multiple experts. Here's a quote from How People Learn from the National Research Council. It was published in 2000, and this says a lot to me. It's easy to forget that student achievement in school also depends on what happens outside of school. Bringing students and teachers in contact with the broader community can enhance their learning. So here are a few examples of that. This particular website, this is a screenshot of a website for my biology classroom. Students in this particular website, this is open, free, transparent, on the internet. Anyone can visit it right now. And this is where the students and I reflect. It is where we deconstruct ideas. It is where we analyze. It is where we do not all of our work, but a great deal of our work. We question one another, so on and so forth. One of the really radical differences about this is when most of us were in school, and we turned in an assignment, we turned in that assignment typically for one person, one set of eyes, and that was the eyes of the teacher. These students know that in the past 2 years, over 103,000 different pairs of eyes from all over the globe, 180 different countries, have visited the website and can actually see. That, in the back of our students' heads, changes their work. It changes the way they see the work that they do. To zoom in on it a little more closely, this is a screenshot from the night before a due date. And what you see right here is, this is my email inbox. I guess my little laser doesn't work, but what is marked there is very interesting, because the night before a due date, this is my email inbox going crazy, and it's date and time stamped 7 p.m., students submitting their work 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., when the students get off of work, when the students get back from a basketball game. Students are doing their work when they can do the work, and the really powerful thing to me is that this has expanded our classroom beyond the walls and beyond the regular school schedule. To zoom in on it really close, if you're a teacher, some of the things that are really interesting is up at the top you see a student who had reflected upon her understanding of a pond ecosystem on September 28th, and then not another student replied to her, but a week later, around October 7th, after a field study at Missouri Western State College and after a lab in class and after several different readings, she's replying back to herself about her new understanding and what she understands about that topic since that time. Being able to track and measure that level of conceptual change really enables us as instructors to do some really powerful things for steering our future instruction. And again, here's another student. Here's what she had thought about the learning at one particular stage after subsequent things. She can bring the full multimedia experience to bear. Here are photographs I've taken. Here's what I saw. Here's what I experienced. Here's what I understand today as a result of my experience. Students are not only just drinking from this fountain of knowledge, they're also taking it, they're synthesizing it, they are analyzing it, they're putting it together, and they are creating and constructing new understandings of their own. Here are a few screenshots from students who were working on their own mini projects. They collected data, they share it out on the web, and there the conversation begins. When I was in school, I turned in my assignment. That was the end of the conversation. Today, these students in my class know, and in many of our other classes, that when their work is submitted, that only begins the conversation. And that's a fundamental difference. Here's another network work. It's our marine biology class, and the reason I show this one, remember I said multiple experts. Last summer, the students and I were all reading a book by Osha Gray Davidson entitled The Enchanted Braid, Coming to Terms with Life on the Coral Reef. And that summer, as the students read the book and started deconstructing the chapters, and they were blogging about the chapters, and they were discussing the book online, I thought, wow, if I was the author of this book, I would want to see this. And so I Googled the guy, found his email address, sent him a message, and about an hour later, he was on our network, had set